When it came to scoring #1 hits, almost no one could touch the Beatles. They ruled the charts on both sides of the Atlantic. But one song in 1964 didn't just bring them fame. It rewrote the rules of rock. Released in November 1963, I Want to Hold Your Hand shot up the British charts before conquering America in February 1964. It became their first US chart topper, ignited the British invasion, and closed the book on an earlier era of rock history. The song itself was crafted with a clear purpose: to break America wide open. Manager Brian Epstein had pressed John Lennon and Paul McCartney to deliver a single that would finally catch fire in the States. Despite their dominance in Britain, their earlier records had fizzled overseas, and with a US tour looming, the stakes couldn't have been higher. So the duo holed up in the basement of McCartney's girlfriend Jane Asher's family home. Sitting face to face, just as they had in their teenage days, they hammered away at ideas until they stumbled onto the chord change that lit the whole thing alive. Lennon later described it as an almost electric moment, the kind that sends shivers down your spine. McCartney remembered the pressure of Epstein's deadline hanging over them, turning the writing session into a race against the clock. What began as casual strumming became a fully formed draft in just hours. The very next day, they carried it into the studio, captured the track almost immediately, and unknowingly set history in motion. By the time I Want to Hold Your Hand hit #1 in America, the Beatles themselves were already crossing the Atlantic. On February 9th, 1964, they stepped onto the stage of The Ed Sullivan Show and sang to an audience of 73 million. A record-shattering moment that left no doubt their lives had changed forever. The single sat at the top of the Billboard charts for 7 weeks straight before being knocked off by their own She Loves You. It wasn't just a hit, it was proof their takeover had only just begun. But the song's impact went far beyond sales. It redefined what rock and roll could be: the American icons. The Beatles had once idolized were suddenly in their shadow, and their peers knew it. Bob Dylan pointed out that the song's chords were startlingly unusual, while its harmonies confirmed that rock was entering new, uncharted territory. Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys later admitted he was rattled by their arrival. Watching them sweep into America made him envious and uneasy. The songs were too fresh, too effortless, and too good to ignore. Even so, he acknowledged that they had set a bold new standard. I Want to Hold Your Hand wasn't just a hit single. It was a turning point. It crowned the Beatles as the leaders of rock, transforming them from rising stars into global revolutionaries. From that moment, rock music was no longer bound by the old rules. It could experiment with richer harmonies, daring chord progressions, and even orchestral textures. And 1964 would forever be remembered as the year 4 young men from Liverpool seized the throne and changed the sound of popular music forever.